Hello guys, welcome to another Hearthstone video. So today I want to talk about Psychic Scream. Psychic Scream. This card, Blizzard why? Why? So on the screen you see I've given us a flowchart. This chart is pretty much going to state pretty much everything I want to explain about why I hate this card so much. So right now, the way how you beat Highlander priest they call her, a singleton priest, is you basically play around nothing and then you hope to kill them between turns 6 and 7. Hence the reason why a lot of people were taking Hydras, because Hydras are big minions and doesn't get board cleared by Dragonfire Potion or a majority of their other stuff. So that way, between turn 6 and turn 8, the goal is to put pressure on the board, pressure on the board, hit them as hard as you can. Hope to God they didn't draw Shadow Reaper Anduin plus Razakis, so they don't just basically just Anduin destroy the board and OTK you right afterwards. And on the screen you will see a flowchart. Now, of course, the flowchart is subject to change depending on the matchup, depending on the situation. But I want you. This gives us a good understanding as to why this card is absolutely broken. So we have 8 turns of Shadow Reaper Handling Priest. Now, as we've said, anywhere between these turns is a situation where they can essentially, get killed, where you can actually beat them. More specifically, between the Bone Mare turns, which are turn sevens, which people really kind of rely on right now, or turn 5, which is, the for rogues, which is the Leroy Jenkins, or turn 6, 7, which you can Leroy Jenkins Cold Blood, right? But these are the standard board clears of a priest deck, right? Now, I'm showing you guys this to show you that this is absolutely insane, right? Turn 1, they have Potion of Madness. So you're already terrified to drop 2 drops. Anything with 2 health is already a problem. Any multiple groups of minions with 2 health from turn 1 is a problem, right? Don't look at this as plays that are being made. Make it as plays that can be made that you, the opponent, have to worry about. Because remember, he's playing Solitaire. You're playing Hearthstone. You're trying to outplay his possible options versus your possible options, right? You're trying to outplay everything he's going to do with what you're going to do. So, turn 1, Potion of Madness. Okay, you have to play around that. All right. It's a little rough, you can't have more, you can't put like a loot hoarder and something next to each other because then, it can get Potion of Madness and you get screwed, they draw, whatever. So that's already stifles deck building one way, right? Next, turn 2, you're worried about Shadow Word Pain. You can't, anything 3 or less, you accept it that this is a possible loss, this is probably not going to survive, this is probably not going to make it, right? Okay. Then you worry about turn 3. Starting turn 3 forward, when there are 3 mana crystals, you know that anything you drop can be deathed. So basically, if you drop a Cobalt Skullman or a Hydra, you better have another one to possibly drop on them, right? Turn 4, if for some reason you're flooding the board, you haven't seen any other board clears, you have to worry about Shadow Word Horror. It's another problem, but it's not. It's disgusting because it can wipe your entire board, but you have to kind of play around it where you don't put up too many minions, but you put up just enough. Turn 5, you run into the mid range area where if you have a board of 5 or less, because remember, you at this point you're trying to ramp up to kill this priest, right? You're trying to kill him. You're pushing every turn. You're pushing. You're trying to, because you have to beat him before he draws Anduin Razakis. The second he draws Kazakis and the second he draws Anduin, this game is over. There's very little chance for you to win. You have to do it. So at this point, you have to worry about turn 5. You're worried about pint sized poor Shadow Word Horror. Okay, whatever. You get through that. Turn 6. Let's say you were able to dodge, play effectively. You get a board state. Turn 6, you got to worry about Dragonfire Potion, right? So Dragonfire Potion, okay. If you have a Cobalt, he stays up. If you have a Hydra, he stays up. Whatever, right? Now back then, between turn 6 and turn 8, this was your best chance, right? After they Dragonfire Potion, you're like, okay, they're out of resources. You can go set up for Leroy Jenkins lethal next turn, or on your turn 7, you can boom, boom, air, boom, hit him in the face as hard as you can. All right, I got one turn before he possibly has Anduin, right? Now, that's gone. Turn 7, you bone mare something, crash into his face. Now you're worried about Psychic Scream, right? What this does is you have, by adding this card to the game, on mana count of 7, Blizzard has effectively made the Singleton Priest solitaire. This deck is completely solitaire. It is not fun. It is completely on your opponent's luck. There's very little you can do to change the outcome of the match other than just straight up ignoring and just hoping they drew into none of these answers. Which, granted, it's a single priest deck, so there's a good chance, not a good chance, but there's a chance. Well, first of all, there's a very good chance they don't draw into all of it. But the problem is not the fact that they can draw into all of it, it's the fact that these are all options there. So you officially have no window where you ever feel safe. And that is extremely polarizing. That is going to make the game so stale. It's going to immediately make the next expansion stale within a month of release, because there are no counter cards to handle this. It is a OTK deck by nature that doesn't care about board state, that only cares about playing solitaire with itself and not interacting with your opponent. All you've done is given it even more reason to not interact with your opponent. Blizzard releasing this before Kazakus rotates out has to be one of the worst design decisions they have ever made. And I absolutely hate the fact that they actually did this. I am disgusted by it. I am shocked that they let this get through testing and they allowed this to happen, because this card by itself has made the game oppressive. God forbid, it's even another Shadow Vision's target, right? So Shadow Visions is already broken. So basically everything here is +1. So you have this 7 crazy removal cards, plus you have Shadow Visions, which can pick one of them out anytime you want. Plus you're running a deck which, aside from these 7 cards, more than half of the other cards in the deck are draw cards. They're just made to get to these answers faster, right? So you have to do 30 damage with no window available. Blizzard, why? Why, Blizzard? You have to do something about this. You cannot let this hit live as it is now. Please. Removing that one window of opportunity we had to be able to counter priests, please don't take that away from us, because you are going to make this game so difficult for everybody else who plays it. So hey, those are my thoughts. I don't know, maybe you guys can tell me what you think, but I honestly think this card is just the worst card in the worst mana slot that Priest is getting at the worst time. And the thing is, yes, it's gonna rotate out in a couple months, but the reality is, do you guys really want to deal with this in Wild? Especially where instead of Dragonfire Potion, they can run Light Bomb. I mean, do you really want to deal with this? This is too far, right? This is way too far. I mean, granted, I will admit, for the other decks that are board centric, like Dragon Priest and Silence Priest and those other priests, I'm not too worried. I mean, it hurts the fact that they'll probably run Big Priest will run 2 of all of this, but at least those decks, you can kind of play around it, right? You can say, okay, they're a Psychic Horror turn, but they haven't gotten a big minion out yet. You know, I won't overplay my hand against Psychic Horde, or if they have a big minion on board, they're not gonna want a Psychic Scream, right? Like if they have a Death Knight, what's his name, Arthas on the board, and he he has no choice. You fill up the board with dangerous high value minions. He kind of has to answer that, right? And if he Psychic Screams, he's giving you a Death Knight, which could inevitably, possibly, if you top deck it, cause him to lose the game, right? You know, and decks with board that require board presence, this can be a problem. The problem is Singleton Priest, OTK Priest, does not require a board presence. It doesn't care about a board presence. It doesn't want a board presence. All it wants to do is get to Anduin, get to Kazakus, and OTK you. So therefore, all of the possible downsides of Psychic Scream are just gone. They vanish into the wind. That's it. They're gone. And you have to deal with all of these board clears every single time you run into this deck and pray to God they don't have every single answer on every single turn. There is going to be no breathing room where you feel like you can possibly, do a sort of play to make it happen. Now, realistically, when you beat them, you're just gonna feel you got lucky. That's it. That's not a good way to feel when playing a strategic card game. When you win, you're gonna feel like you were lucky. When you lose, you're just gonna feel like your opponent got lucky. There's no good feeling involved in this. There's no get better or getting better about this. This is just, did I draw my answers at the right time? Yes, I won. Did I draw my answers in a bad order? No. Yeah. Well, I lost. So I mean, yes, you lost. So these are my thoughts, guys. Let me know in the comment section below how you feel about this. I really, 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 really do not like Psychic Scream. I hate this card, and I wish Blizzard would do something before this expansion releases, because it's going to ruin this expansion like we've never seen before. Like, people are going to not enjoy this game, and after coming off of such a stale expansion where we had to deal with Shadow Reaper Anduin and Kazakus for months, and knowing we have to probably deal with this for months, I can see a decline slowly start happening, where people are just not going to want to deal with it anymore. They're going to be like, Blizzard just doesn't know what they're doing, and they don't fix things fast enough. This needs to be addressed. All right, guys, let me know what you think in the comments below, and have a good one.